Assalamu alaikum dear students, how are you? I hope you are fine. In my first lecture I gave you an assignment and hope you have solved it, and those students who are unable to solve and they at least tried, it is very appreciable from my side. You need to do try, and if you do sincere tries, definitely you will become successful. Let's see what was the example. I gave a piece of code and I asked you to calculate the time complexity of this algorithm. What is the time complexity or the efficiency of this algorithm? Okay, most of the students they were very near, but they were not accurate, and they didn't prove it mathematically. Now let's prove it. First of all, it is well assured. If I ask you that the outer loop, how many times the outer loop will execute, you will say it depends upon the condition. This is the condition. Right now, if a is 0, the value of a is 0 and the value of n is 100, you can easily say that the outer loop will execute for 100 times. Why? Because you can see, you can determine by this step, because it is a single step, a plus plus, a is incrementing by itself by 1. Suppose if the step would be like that. Now can you guess how many times the outer loop will execute? Definitely it will execute now 50 times. Well, the outer loop is very simple. We don't need to care about the outer loop. We are concerned with the inner loop. For every iteration of the outer loop, how many times the inner loop will execute? This is the question. Why? Because the increment step or the decrement step of the inner loop is not a simple one. On each iteration of the inner loop, b is divided by 2. So we need to calculate how many times the inner loop will execute for every iteration of the outer loop. So we need to get the answer by mathematical proofs. We can use different strategies. For that, what I have done, I have written the number of iterations, the sequence of iterations on left side, and the value of b. B is a variable that will be used in the inner loop. It is a counter controlled variable because our loop will break when this condition becomes false. So this condition is very important. When this condition become false, when the b becomes 0 or less than 0. So in the first iteration of this loop, when a was 0 and b was assigned with the value of n, and n is currently 100, at that time b was 0. So before entering the loop, the value of b was 100, but after the completion of the you can say the first loop, the value of b becomes the half of 100, it becomes 50, and on the next iteration, that is iteration number 2, the value of b becomes 25, and on the next iteration it becomes 12, and so on and so forth, and on the 7th iterations the value of b becomes 0. When the value of b becomes 0, the inner loop broke out and the control again shifted to our outer loop. Okay. Now this loop while executed was 6 times. This one, the inner loop. Now on each iteration of the outer loop, the inner loop will be executed for 6 times. We can say that the outer loop, we know that outer loop will execute for 100 times, 100 multiplied by 6, 600 times. The total number of statements that will be executed, I am talking about this particular statement. This statement will be executed for 600 times. Although these are also statements, but I am particularly interested on this statement. Okay, the next thing, If I say that I have the number of elements are 3100 or 31,000. Now you tell me how many times this statement that is printing a number or the value of b will be printed. Well, you cannot answer. Why? Because you don't have a general formula. Now let's talk about the general formula. How will you do? If you consider the value of b's that are coming from downside and it is approaching to 0, what are the steps? The steps are division by 2. I have derived the formula that if the value of n is 100, 100 is divided by 2 to the raised power the iteration number. You can say this is the general formula. This is the index of the iteration, and this is the value of n, and division by 2 to the raised power the number of iteration. Let's suppose I want to know that on fifth iteration, what will be the value of b? I know n is 100, 2 to the raised power 5, it is 32, and if I divide 100 by 32, it will be 3. Why? Because it is an integer division, it's not a floating point division. So as you can see that at this point it is well cleared. Now we have a general formula. We have to solve it. How we will solve? Let's see. K, this k is equal to n over 2 to the raised power k. If we do cross multiplication, the 2k will be over there, so it will become 2 into 2k. It is, you can say, in a algorithm analysis, we often ignore the quotients. We don't need these things. These are approximately same. That's why it is called asymptotic notations. When we determine the complexity of an algorithm, we talk about asymptotically. It is near about solutions. So it is 2 to the raised power k n. This is a simplified form. You can solve it by the formula of logarithm. So k is log n base 2. So we can say that. Now we have a general formula. By this applying the formula, we have n 100, and if we applied log base 2 on 100, the answer will be 6. That is an integer. If you go about the exact, it will be some fractional points, but for integer values 6 is sufficient. We can say that if the number of elements the b, like if it contains 100, then this loop will execute for 6 times. Why? Because we got the answer. If we do log operation of base 2, then it will be your answer will be 6. How? Well, I will explain you, or you can consult. So it is very easy. Now if n is 31,000, simply you can say that 30,000 log of 31,000. Why? Because the outer loop, it depends upon the number of n times that it will execute n times. On each iteration, the inner loop will be executed log of n times. So it will become n log n. The time complexity of this algorithm is n log n. The inner loop depends upon log n and the outer loop depends upon n. So collectively it will become n log n. I hope you got the idea. Inshallah, in next lecture we'll discuss any other topic. Thank you.